Prince lives here, we got 10,000 lakes. But wait, the women are beautiful, to me they are. And we're not infested with pretentious movie stars. And it hit me, Minnesota is dope, if only simply for not what we have, but what we don't.
Welcome to 10 Minutes with Tony Scott. We got a great show for you today. Lots to talk about: squirts, peewees, bantams, high school. Later in the show, we'll unveil our top 10 for AA and A. They're sitting in this warm little envelopes with our new rankings for the new coming high school season. So stay tuned for that. But let's get started and talk about a little squirt action. Then we'll go to the peewees and the bantams. First, at the squirt level, we host our 2017 Great Plains tryout for the show next summer, this MEA weekend, up in St. Cloud. We have 59 players registered. Can't wait to get introduced to a lot of great new players from all over the state. Have 8 players from Thunder Bay making their way down to St. Cloud. Got a few players from North Dakota and a few move-ins, one from Boston and another from California, ready to take on some of the kids from the Great Plains to make that great team that we host in the show, or that we play in the show each summer. Let's talk a little pumpkin in the peewee action. We announced our brackets last Friday. Looks like Osseo, Maple Grove, Andover, Chaska, Chan, and Edina looks to be the top teams from the metro area, but you got to keep an eye on teams like Hermantown and Moorhead up north. Looks like a very balanced field in Moorhead next weekend, or the weekend after this one. Should be a great field, great tournament. We'll be broadcasting the 2 quarterfinal games, both semifinal games Saturday night, and all 3 championship games and all 3 brackets on Sunday. Should be a great event, again, up in Moorhead. We look forward to it. A little note, we have 2 spots available in our Peewee B1 and Peewee B2 Gobbler tournament held in Bloomington over Thanksgiving. It's going to be a great event. If you're looking to get into another tournament at Peewee B1 or B2, take a look at our Gobbler tournament. Obviously, all of the candy that we always put together for our events, like live stream games, in-game music, score, stats, social media, you name it. Bloomington Ice Garden will be the place to be for Peewee B1s and Peewee B2s over Thanksgiving. Okay, on to the Bantams. We got great Bantam action this weekend. We have the Centennial preview and the White Bear Lake preview going on simultaneously. We'll get a chance to go catch some of those games this weekend. Can't wait to see some of the northern teams who will make their way down, including Hermantown, who will be playing over in White Bear Lake, and Cloquet, who will be playing at Centennial. So looking forward to catching up on some of those games and seeing some of the great new players, how they've progressed since last March. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk a little high school hockey. Let's start with the Class A top 10 rankings. I sat down with a few different people and charted our course for Class A. So no big surprise. At number 1, that's going to be Hermantown. At number 2, Delano is an obvious choice. If you didn't see them this summer over in Edina, you saw that they're a team to beat. Unfortunately, to break their streak, they're going to have to go through Breck, who we have as number 3. Over in Section 4 is going to be SPA, and they'll be the number 4 rated team coming out. In Section 6, St. Cloud Cathedral looks to be the top team there. They're number 5 in our rankings. Matamidi, number 6. A little young this year, but I think by year's end, this is going to be one of the best teams in the state. Speaking of Section 2, another team. So 3 of the top 7 teams in the state come out of Section 2. Orono, they have 2. Granted, these aren't the senior class, but the sophomores and juniors have won 2 state championships at the Bantam A level. So it's going to be a really deep group over in Orono. Watch out for them. Alexandria, another group, had some lot of success at the youth level the last few years. I have them at number 8. And then at number 9, always got to keep it out for the Green Wave from East Grand Forks. And speaking of green, we have Greenway coming in at number 10 out of Coleraine, Minnesota, and Section 7. They'll have to contend, obviously, with Hermantown. So let's move on to the double A's. Really no surprise again at the number 1 spot. The consensus number 1 is going to be Eden Prairie. Number 2 is somewhat up in the air, and maybe a surprise for some, but I don't think a big surprise at all. Anyone who knows the players. Stillwater comes in at number 2, followed by Grand Rapids at number 3. Those two teams played last year in the third place game for state, ironically, and now here they're battling for top 3-4 teams in the state, which says a lot about both programs. They both had some good seniors last year, but I think their junior classes really speak to that. And ironically enough, who met in the state tournament in 2014 in Rogers at Bantam AA? Yep, Stillwater and Grand Rapids. They'll be right in the hunt. Next up, Elk River, another top team from Bantams in 2014. They are loaded from sophomores up to seniors. This is going to be as good a year in Section 7 as it's been. And then we have another duplicate in Section 2 AA. Holy Family comes in as number 5. What a loaded team that is, and what a great game that's going to be someday when Eden Prairie and Holy Family can get matched up against one another in that Section 2 playoff over, hopefully not at Edina, Braemar. Hopefully it'll be at Mariucci in the finals. Speaking of finals, last year's champion of the state finals, Wayzata, comes in at number 6. They return a lot of talent and lots of depth. Pat O'Leary will be running 4 lines at you all year long with a great, strong defensive core that he has and a great goaltender in Reed Wasenko. So I like Wayzata as the top favorite coming out of Section 6 again this year. St. Thomas, another one, a team that we see returning to the state tournament after Burnsville stopped them last year. We had them at number 7. Speaking of Section 6 a minute ago, Edina will come in at number 8. They are very close to Wayzata. Wayzata and Edina will face each other probably a handful of times this year, including their Lake Conference games and others. Finally, the last 2 teams, this will probably be the biggest surprise, again, almost as big as Stillwater being number 2, heading back over to the northeast side of town. Centennial coming at number 9, a real strong junior class and some really good seniors as well. They were very good Bantams in 2014, one of the best top 10 teams in the state. They won the Edina Invitational. Not a lot of those kids have gone on to other greener pastures, so I think that Centennial will be the favorite in Section 5 this year. I see them also as a top 10 team. At some point this year, we'll start them out at number 9. They may slide out, but they also may slide back in. And finally, probably the most talented team, top to bottom, but very, very young, is Minnetonka. We'll sneak them in there at number 10. Several other great teams not inside the top 10. Another one in Section 2. Watch out for Prior Lake. I see them as the favorite to win the South Suburban Conference, along with another team just outside the top 10, Lakeville South. The South Suburban Conference is very stacked, very balanced, very good league, but not top 10 quality teams yet. But I would assume at some point we'll see some top 10 teams out of that conference this year. All right, moving on to our Boom Roasted and our Game Pucks. My Boom Roasted this week, totally off the subject of high school, but all these high school players once played mites, and they all played full ice hockey. USA Hockey is looking to move full ice hockey completely out of mite hockey, which is just ridiculous. I'm not saying that cross ice hockey is wrong. I love cross ice hockey. It's great. It gives lots of players lots of attempts and touches, but at the same time, kids want to go out and play like the big boys, and it never stopped me from playing a great game of hockey, or my friends playing full ice hockey. We like to play a little cross ice hockey outside the big rink when I was growing up at Lake of the Isles, but we also like playing in the big rink as well, though. So USA Hockey, thumbs down, Boom Roasted to you for putting in this proposal, at least hopefully it doesn't pass, for banning full ice hockey. And moving on to our Game Puck, that one's going to go out to the two Elite League teams, the Selects and Team Northwest, for winning games against the U.S. 17 National Development Team this past weekend. It was big for Minnesota Hockey, a big shot in the arm, and a big message sent out to the rest of USA Hockey that no matter if you take few of our players, there's always going to be a few of our players who are going to turn you down, and you can take players into the USHL. We're still deep enough where we can beat the best that the rest of the country has to offer. So huge Game Puck goes out to those Elite League teams. Thanks for tuning in to today's show. We'll see you around the rink.
And if you ain't gonna gonna leave cause this is where you're from.